Good evening, my friends. This is the Grim Flayer. Hope you're all doing very well tonight. And yeah, that's right. It's an evening recording, a little unusual for me. I hope that does not affect the quality of my content because, I'm usually midday, mid-afternoon at the latest, caffeinated, energized. None of those things are necessarily true tonight, but this is when I'm able to actually play a live recorded league, get a little bit of a window of time, so hopefully it works out all right. I don't plan to be too low energy, but I'll have to do my best. So yes, good evening to you, and this, my friends, this is a donation league. I guess we're calling it Saltier Sultai, because this is kind of the descendant of the Salty Sultai list that I played. I don't even know, at least a month ago, I think, possibly a little more, I can't remember exactly, on this channel for you. It was a donation league for Anthony Zolman, and Anthony is back with an updated version of his Sultai mid-range BGX build. So you're looking at the list here, of course, and just to give you a little bit of a rundown in terms of the changes, well, the first change that he's made from the list I played last for him was, this used to be a Hissing Quagmire, now we are on Nurturing Peatland. So I do like that change. I think that's a solid change, even though we only have 22 lands overall. It's a low land count. Well, number one, you can see how low our curve is, and number two, even so we can support one of these canopy lands. I think that's totally fine. Positive change if you ask me. Just a quick note on the mana base. We only have one of each shock land and one of each basic land. So we're just going to have to try to remember that as we play for the purposes of fetching and for playing around other effects. I don't have much experience on this deck, so hopefully I don't mess that up. Hopefully I don't, think we've got a second tomb to fetch or something and get blown out by that, right? But just thought I'd point that out. And then not too many other changes from when I did play this last. The major main deck one, the only main deck one really, is admittedly a very important one. Drown in the Loch. So, the traditional reasoning behind why Sultai is not ever really caught on as much as it quote-unquote should have, as far as a BGX option in Modern, is because there is a tension between playing discard, which is a big attraction to playing BGX, and playing permission, which they can work at cross purposes if you're trying to hold one up or decide to play one over the other. Plus, on top of that inherent tension, we are a deck that's kind of trading resources and trying to out-top deck the opponent. So top-decking permission is, of course, very bad. But Drown in the Loch, well, this kind of lets us do everything in theory, because removal spells are not bad top decks, not anywhere near as bad on average anyway, as permission in a lot of matchups. And of course, it's permission when you need it to be as well. But it is conditional. It's conditional upon the number of cards in the OP's graveyard. So we're also going to have to sequence carefully with that in mind to maybe try to see a few turns ahead, set up the best possible scenarios for Drown in the Loch. Again, I hope my play here is up to muster. This is it looks like a card with a pretty high skill and experience ceiling, so let's see if we can put it to good use. But I do like its inclusion here. I do think it's a very, very nice tool in a BGX deck. Certainly kind of alleviates the downsides of a lot of otherwise good cards that don't necessarily fit too well in this archetype. And the other major change is we are playing, speaking of permission, a couple copies of Ceremonious Rejection. Seems pretty well positioned right now, of course, alongside Stubborn Denial and Opt. We do have a lot of really nice one-mana things to do with Snapcaster Mage, which is pretty important, of course. The core black interactive cards fall in that category as well. So we used to be on Collector Oof the last time I played. We've got Rejection in place of Oof. Obviously, Oof is great, but Rejection might fit a little bit better within the shell. We will have to see, but either way, definitely need some kind of artifact. And the fact that this is good against colorless in general, well, you guys know how much I hate the Eldrazi matchup. This could be really good there. Obviously nice against regular Tron as well. Otherwise, we're a little lighter on spreading seas than we used to be. This was once a 2-2 main side split. Now we've just got 3 copies on the side. However, we are otherwise more or less looking the same. The one suggestion that I did make to Anthony before we finalized the list is I was just not sure if we were respecting burn quite enough. So to that end, we are back on 2 Collective Brutality main, where previously there was just 1, and a second Baloth as well. That's obviously good in BGX mirrors, right? But a 4/4 for 4 that gains you 4 life, pretty solid against burn as well. So here we go, my friends. We are playing a league with Saltier Sultai. We'll tab back over into the deck just so you can take another gander at it. And yeah, Anthony, thank you, my friend. Anthony, for those who didn't happen to see my first video that he donated to, it was a very generous donation. He not only gave me the donation league fee, he also met me halfway on buying a lot of these blue cards that we needed, that including the land base that I just didn't own. So super generous from Anthony. Thank you so much, my friend, and thank you for donating yet again for another donation league. Anthony Zolman, everyone, thank you, and of course, Patreon supporters, as always, we give you thanks as well, my friends. So here we go, time to play, and let's see what Saltier Sultai can do. So hand looks fine to me. We cannot do turn 1 Thoughtseize or push. That's the only kind of awkward thing about it, but I don't think that's a reason to mulligan a very functional hand. And the opponent will mull, so pretty happy to see that. So Creeping Tar Pit, of course, kind of cramping our style here as far as curving out, unless we top deck a black land that's untapped, right? But man, this card is wonderful. This card is a big, big attraction to playing UBX control or midrange, in my opinion. Just like the monosync that we know these fair decks really need. But hey, it's unblockable. I mean, that's pretty good. It really is pretty good. So, big fan of the Tar Pit. Opponent taking a while to resolve their mulligans here, but they're going all the way down to 5 at least. So, yeah, I'm not going to complain about that. Lately, you know, I mentioned at the end of my rock video, we did okay in the recent video. If you haven't seen that, I did go 3-2, but I did have a couple negative leagues as well lately that, you know, I just think the opponents just have not been mulling for me really at all. But hopefully that's changing here with this league, certainly in Game 1. So Island Ether Vial, I guess we're thinking Merfolk here, could be, you know, Spirits or whatever. Either way, because they are so low on resources, I'm definitely shocking and thought seizing, even though it's bad against an aggro deck. Yeah, Merfolk, sure. So Benthic Biomancer is just kind of a 1/1 until further notice. I still might take one, though, just because it lets them put 2 things down next turn if I don't. Fatal Push will answer Master just as well as anything else, so sure, we'll take a Bioman. Very, very nice to have Merfolk mulligan here. This is a matchup where I don't think our blue cards are very good, though, so I'd definitely rather be on straight rock for this matchup, but hopefully we get kind of a free win here in Game 1, and then we can win another one of the post-side games as well. Opponent fully on theme with what looks like a Merfolk avatar, or something aquatic anyway. Alright, so we could shock in Breeding Pool, and that way we have Drown in the Loch held up for however we want to use it, but I think we'll just respect our life total more. We'll just hold up push here. Drawing another trophy. It's pretty good. I mean, admittedly, we don't really want to ramp them, but I'm not gonna push this yet. All right, so they hit their second land. Minimo School at Water's Edge. Spreading Seas on our tar pit. Sure. It's a bit annoying, but at least we do have that other black land. Alright, I'm going to push here. Gave them a chance to violin their lord, but they won't, and we just have a handful of removal, so there's no reason not to. Biomancer is going to be good at filtering out their draws as the game goes on as well, and we draw another Fatal Push. Pretty sweet. So, right now we're holding up blue-black. We're holding up everything but Trophy. So I guess that is fine. A fine enough reason to just play the pool. Tapped. And say go. I'll hope they don't have another Spreading Seas. That'd be very annoying. We can always Trophy 1, but that's like a 3-for-1 in their favor, so we're not going to do that. You know, and by playing the pool, we can't do it this turn, right? So if they, like, seize our Watery Grave, they just kind of get us. But... oh no, I'm mistaken. They don't get us at all, because we've got Drown in the Loch that we're holding up. So opponent viling in the Master. We're just going to let this happen and let them untap. The only way we get punished for this is if they play a land and they draw Force of Negation. I'm still kind of fine with that. I'd rather hold up Drown for a Seize. Haha, gotcha. All right, feels like the right call to me. Yeah, this could have been their way to like cheese out the game. Definitely, there's just a free win potential of Merfolk against a fair deck with just Spreading Seas, but we played around it. Hopefully they don't draw third. All right, we got a Verdant Catacombs anyway. Good. So I think I'm just pushing here while they're tapped out. They could be on like main deck Deprive. So the only problem is we've just got no clock, right? No clock, no repeated advantage, but we are ahead on resources for sure. Hope this is not like a Silvergill Adept. It sure is. That's very annoying. Alright, their draws have been incredible. Like, they did Multi 5, but then they just drew a bunch of 2-for-1s. And their second land to make all this possible. And now Silvergill is not something I'm really excited about hitting with a trophy, to say the least. But we'll see what they do here. I think I'm just going to take this hit. Want to draw like a Scooz here, or a Hex Drinker, or not really Tarmogoyf, because they can blow that out with a Trickster, but, you know, any threat would be more or less fine with me. Okay. Here comes the Flood. It's possible that they just draw straight gas and we just flood. Like, stranger things have happened. Another Silvergill Adept. Come on. Come on, come on. So just like killing these Silvergills is very risky here. But I think we're going to have to start trying to do so. At least one of them here. Maybe we kill one and then we see if they put anything else in. Like, we'll do this during attack phase and then we'll go to blocks like we don't have anything else. Maybe they Violin a Lord. Alright, they don't Violin a Lord. Ugh. Sure, take the hit. Okay, there's a Lord. Alright, I mean, our life total's really low. They've got Island Walk potential that we can't do anything about. We draw Opt. Let's Opt. I think we have enough mana and enough blue mana, and the blue mana doesn't matter enough that we're just going to top that and do it again. Tracker. Yeah, I think we take any threat here, and this is a pretty good spot for a tracker. Just coming pretty late here, that's the only issue, so... You know, if the opponent's got a Lord in hand, I think we're likely to lose. Okay. So there's a definite tension here between, like, Tracker trading off with Adept is value neutral. They drew a card off it, we drew a card off it. Of course, Tracker is a way to snowball the game, whereas Adept has already gotten its value. So in theory, we want to just take the hit, but in practice, that's going to put us to 6 at least, if not lower. You know, maybe we don't block, they put in a Lord. So, I mean, you know, I think if we just, I think we have to take the trade. I really do. Like, going to 6 is just so loose against Ether Vial and Island Walk and 3 cards in hand. Taking the trade. And it's not like if we can get even bigger, then eventually they can't attack into us, because again, they always have that threat of Island Walk. So, another Vial. Brazen Borrower. Bouncing our clue. So, Petty Theft bounced our clue, and now they can play this 3-1, and now we draw a fetch land. Okay. Okay, we're basically dead. Unreal how badly we flooded out against this 5-card Merfolk deck. But 5-card Merfolk opening hand, that is. An opponent just hitting the gas pedal. Alright. I'm conceding here. They got us. They got us good. Okay, so as mentioned, this is a matchup where our blue splash is not particularly useful. Even Drown in the Lock, it's our best of the blue cards, I think, alongside Snap, but both of these things are pretty vulnerable to graveyard hate. I'm sure they're going to bring some amount of graveyard hate in if they've got it in the deck. I think we're going to cut for sure 1 Thoughtseize and 3 Stubs, and for sure bring in 2 EEs, a Damnation, a Last Hope. So we have some great tools. That puts us at 60. I think Obstinate Baloth is pretty fine, possibly better than a lot of the other things we're doing. On Rock, I like to cut a Tarmogoyf against Merfolk. I don't know if that's as correct in Sultai. I don't know how much we should be hedging away from just like a solid standalone threat like that. Let's do a quick threat count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I could see either way. I think I am going to cut a Goyf. Goyf is just pretty bad against Merfolk. That's just all there is to it. Especially if we're worried about other things being a little bit soft to Grave Hate. Goyf is just another one of those things. So why don't we do that? And then we could cut a Drown in the Loch or a Snap to play around Graveyard Hate, but I think the ceiling is high enough on those cards that we're just going to trim an Opt instead. Call it good. Okay, so we've got some haymakers in the side. EE against Merfolk, real nice. Shout out here to my buddy the Dogfish, who is my good friend, my main testing buddy. I don't get to test as much with him back in the day as I did back in the day now that we're both invested MTGO players, but we used to play a lot on all the free servers when we were first, learning Modern, exploring the meta, playing a variety of decks before we both narrowed in on our chosen archetypes, and his chosen archetype is Merfolk, so I've got a lot of experience against the deck. I think historically Merfolk has been a tough matchup for 3-color BGX decks. These days, especially with Jund, I think that's changed because Plague Man is just so OP, and with Rock the matchup is now actively good because you're only 2-color. That's very helpful against the aggro Spreading Seas deck, and Plague Man still OP there too, right? But again, the blue splash here, I think it's going to make it a little bit tougher for us. That said, this is a very nice opening hand that we have. And, the opponent gassed out really well, even if they hadn't mulliganed. That was a pretty strong Merfolk progression off the top of the deck, regardless of the mull. So hopefully they won't have anything quite so rough. So I kind of want to fetch and shock here, get a Watery Grave. Or an Overgrown Tomb. We kind of need it all. But getting the Grave allows us to hold up Op next turn and play a Tar Pit. So I think I'm going to get Grave. And that means we're also not having to shock twice, hopefully. This does leave us a little shy on green mana for the Ooze, but we can draw into it. And hopefully just a little bit will go a long way. Either way. Okay, opponent on a 2-lander with double Force of Negation. Force still in the deck is an interesting one. Trickster, Regiere, Biomancer. Don't care about too much of this stuff. I think we're just taking the Regiere because they can protect it with Force. It's the best long game card. I would be very happy to take any 2-for-1 there, but they don't have one, so I'll just take the most powerful card. Worth noting, they cannot hardcast Trickster or Force of Negation until they find another Trickster until they find another blue land. Force of Negation, they're very far away from being able to hardcast because they have no blue sources for it. We draw Push. Yeah. Now we're holding up Push and Opt. Let's see what land the opponent plays. If they play Mutavault, it might be pretty sweet to just push the Mutavault next turn. But yeah, you know, I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to take the hit here, make the judgment call. I like hanging on to push here because it can answer Vault, whereas Brutality cannot, right? Tracker. I think we bottom you. I think we're looking just for more interaction. Maybe need a fourth land. Okay, so we have found Trophy and Catacombs. Alright, so I think I'm just going to try to kill this thing with a Brutality. I'm not going to escalate because then it makes their force good. They can adapt beforehand if they want, just for value to filter. Or they can 2-for-1 themselves with a Force of Negation. Or they'll just let it happen. Interesting. Okay. I expected them to at least adapt, but sure. Alright, so we're going to play Catacombs. Now we have the freedom to push Vault if they decide to attack with it. Yeah, no adapt there, a little weird. Like, I don't think their hand is so good they shouldn't adapt. I think, like, when you have Forces of Negation sitting in hand, I don't know. Alrighty. Seems like a good play to me. Are we getting an Overgrown Tomb here? Yes. Yes, we are. Alright, play the use, and now we have to shock in the Breeding Pool too. Like, the mana has been so painful here, but this allows us to hold up everything, and including an ooze activation to start gaining some life back. Holding up Drown in the Loch is pretty sweet here. There is a non-bow between eating the opponent's graveyard and making Drown in the Loch good. Opponent's just got nothing. Alrighty. Here we go, Oozer. Here we go. Liliana the Last Hope? Okay. Now, the opponent will just force Lily. But I think that's okay. Because right now, Drown in the Loch's not that effective after we ate with Skoos. So this is going to put at least another force in their yard. And it's just a 2-for-1 in our favor. You know, they do have a handful of 7 cards, so we've got to be mindful of that. Also lets us be perfectly mana efficient this turn. So they pitched a Regere. And now they've hit the second land. So now they can cast Trickster plus a whole lot of other stuff, I'm sure. So now's when stuff gets a little bit tough. Gets a little bit tougher for us, but hopefully we can keep killing things. Eating them with Skoos, just take over the game with this guy. Another Tar Pit. Alright. So, I guess we're countering. Oh, can't be countered. Cancel. Okay, almost walked into that one. Can't be countered. Sure. Okay, so The mana-efficient thing to do here is to actually just animate Creeping Tar Pit and attack. The alternative is to let go to their upkeep, so Force is no longer live, and then drown in the lock the Trickster. Drown the Trickster in the lock. Then we're holding up Trophy. Yeah, I guess we're going to just keep killing their board. But the Tar Pit attack is interesting here. Oh, shoot, jeez. Hazard of commentating. I skipped past my second main. Very annoying. Hopefully it won't matter. But yeah, that's rough. That was bad. Opponent hitting the land drops, but still unable to cast Force of Negation. Hard cast it, that is. I believe that Brazen Borrower that they showed us last game is... there's the Fairy. I was going to say, I believe it's UU, so they might name Fairy with this cavern. Looks like it. Okay, so they're telegraphing they have the Borrower, so... That's a reason not to go all in on the Skoos, because it's likely to get bounced, but at the same time, I just kind of need to gain all the life I can and be as mana efficient as I can, so I'm still going to. No block, huh? Wow. Okay. This card's quite good in the deck. Nice 2-for-1. The Echoing Truth style effect is definitely very, very reasonable in a mono-blue deck anyway, just because they lack other ways to deal with unusual permanents. And of course the Evasive Flyer is right along the main game plan. That's the back half of the card. It's kind of like our very own Murderous Rider on the Rock. And like Natural Flash, yeah, the card is pretty nasty. Okay. Wouldn't mind just having some value this turn, like a tracker off the top. Now we get a land, okay. Not attacking with a Tar Pit yet. I think it's wise to hold up Trophy here. Because, yeah, here comes the Borrower. And I am going to try to Trophy this right now, because that's a 2-for-1 in our favor if they force it. And yes, it's good for them. They get the land, they get to crack the Grove. think I'm pretty likely to attack with a tar pit beginning this upcoming turn. Almost no matter what the opponent does here. I mean, we're flooding yet again. So we might need to just try to start racing here. Opponent does have a Lord in hand. We're giving them natural Island Walk with our deck here. But opponent's not playing out the Lord. Fine with us, we don't have a way to deal with it anyway. Tarmogoyf. Yeah. Let's make sure I'm tapping the right lands here. There's blue. There's black. This might get a Trickster out of their hand, which is gonna, yes, gonna be good for our Goyf. Otherwise, we'd get blown out pretty hard by it. Yep, tapping down Tar Pit, the right move. And I think that means we kind of have to abort mission here. Skoos is, well, do we? Am I alright with trading Skoos for 2 Merfolk? I actually think I am, since right now there's nothing else to eat, and we are the aggressor here. The opponent also has to be wary of us having a Fatal Push or something to blow them out. They do have Force backup, but... Okay. Oh. Yeah, tough decision for the opponent, apparently. Okay, we get the 2-for-1 here. We're going to hold that land. We got Tracker and Brutality plus bluffing purposes to do all that. We have more than enough lands on field. Catacombs can get us a swamp. It's the only thing it can fetch is a swamp. We've got Forest plus all 3 shock lands already on field. Okay, opponent's got Master of the Pearl plus a Lord of Atlantis that they already showed us, so we know they have a different Lord in hand. Still know about that Force. Like, the flood is just insane that we've had so far. But we're still in pole position here to win this match. Polluted Delta can get us either of our missing basics, so that's the one I'll run out. Okay. Desperate times, desperate measures for OP, huh? Chump blocking with the Lord, never ideal. And yeah, this Tarmogoyf did come at the exact right time for us, you know? Okay, that'll be the scoop. Cool, cool, cool. Opponent's pretty low on the clock, too. They're not the quickest player, so if I had stuck game one out a little bit longer, who knows if that might be a weapon in our arsenal as well, right? But on the draw, so I don't see anything I dislike. We didn't see any grave hate out of the opponent. And I also don't see anything in the sideboard that I really miss. I still think siding out one Tarmogoyf is perfectly fine here. And I also don't like to see more than one Thoughtseize, and it's definitely worth siding out some number of discard anyway, because they do get to top deck wars. It is grindy. They can sometimes have like the ability to empty out their hand in response to a discard spell with Natural Flash. And now stuff like Brazen Borrower, they can fire that off on something. And we'll keep this. And they can vial stuff in, so... Okay, opponent down to 6. We like that. Okay. We're going to play around Spreading Seas. So they reveal Benthic Biomancer, sure. Our hand is so full of removal, and we have Snapcaster Mage. These are some reasons I do kind of want a Fatal Push here. I think I'm going to, even though it's not good value. Like, we just want to keep the board clear and let Liliana take this game over, basically. That's the play. Alright, continuing to draw lands is actually pretty good here. We don't really need any more, for the while at least, but hitting that fourth one, pretty nice. We can counter... the other reason to have pushed there is now we can counter Benthic Biomancer with Drown in the Lock if that seems like the right play. We cannot counter another Silvergill Adept, but I'll tell you what we can do is kill it with Liliana the Last Hope. Alright, so do we spend Drown in the Lock to counter? That's the mana-efficient thing to do. I mean, I think I'm supposed to go for it here because we have Snapcaster Mage in hand. We just want to like trade one for one and then take over with our really good stuff. So if we get Breeding Pool here, we kind of have to get Overgrown Tomb with Catacombs. We're fetching and shocking twice. If we get Watery Grave here, we can get Forest off of Catacombs. Yeah. Cool. Alright, let's hope they don't have Force of Negation. Got him. Okay. Opponents really got their work cut out for them now. They're just going to go all in on the board, huh? Yeah, they might be holding up Deprive here. They look like they're holding up Deprive. So are we playing around Deprive by just, like, waiting to go snap, push, or snap drown in the lock? I think so. Maybe we can wait for a nice 2-for-1 on Maelstrom Pulse as well. Yeah, I still think we're going to push the Lord, even though that's the one that we've already shrunk. It's just a way higher value card. Ooh, I missequenced here, though. I'm just... yeah. Honestly, it's hard to say whether I would be trading there anyway. But yeah, certainly I just meant to let Trickster resolve just the hazard of talking. Hazard of talking while you play, but... looks like the opponent still has a Deprive. Might be kind of a hard card for us to beat at the moment. And we couldn't block anyway, so that doesn't change anything. Alright, let's draw another piece of removal. Can't believe we're going all the way down under 5 minutes in a Merfolk matchup. Whoo! Hello, EE. You know, I think we try the EE, because even if they deprive it, then we just pulse the Trickster, right? Like, or we just pulse the Master, shrink the other one. Because if we lead on pulse and they deprive that, then we cannot activate EE this turn. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Just in case they are on Monolink. Let's do that. All right. Alright, opponent is indeed on the Relic. Okay, I guess we're casting Inquisition. If nothing else, it clears the way for a potential creeping tar pit attack. Forces something out where we can shrink it. Okay, double Trickster, rewarded. Okay, so between the presence of Trickster and the Relic, we're just ticking Liliana's loyalty up rather than trying to buy back Snap. And I guess we're going to pass, not try to get too greedy with a tar pit attack. Of course, they're incentivized to flash in Trickster right now, and indeed they will. So now we can, you know, choose to trade with it, maybe with a tar pit if we want. Regire. I think we might have to. Okay, so we're going to pulse right now. Then an interesting thing to do is to tick down, force them to crack the relic, and then we can Inquisition. That's a very cute play, but I still think having Liliana's loyalty higher is just better. But that is definitely an interesting play. That would make our Inquisition good, and it's definitely a bad draw right now. Because we've got nothing, we've got so little going on, I am going to bluff by just not playing out the Delta. Conceal what else we have in hand. We've already thought through, what, 2 Tricksters this game? 3. Okay. So their natural flash is not as great as it could be, of course. Abrupt Decay. So now do we Inquisition? Like, is that something that's worth doing? I don't think so. Not yet. I think we're just going to keep ticking up. Maybe wait till they crack the Grove. They're a little bit lower on mana, a little more cards in hand before we cast IOK. Decay's a nice one. Decay's a real nice one here. The pressure is on the opponent to pressure our Lily. Ugh. Come on. This card's obnoxious. That said, we can still kill it with our Liliana rather easily. Alright, so do we IOK to clear the way for Lily? Or do we just play Lily, hope she resolves, then try to protect her with Decay? I think we IOK here. Actually, there's just very little they could have that they wouldn't have played out that our Inquisition will also be good against. It's literally only permission. So if they have permission, then they got us. That'd be really unlucky. Okay, they don't. So let's run that out so we can fetch and shock for Decay if we have to. I just clicked through this, didn't I? That's what I get for... I shouldn't play this late at night. I'm just not fully awake right now. Also didn't strictly need to Abrupt Decay there, but... Oh, okay. They can't bounce their own stuff with this. Interesting. I thought I was playing around the bounce effect. I guess not. Verdant Catacombs doesn't fetch anything any longer. Alright, let's opt. Nice. I'm still content to pass here. Not ready to force anything with an Inquisition quite yet. Maybe next turn. Opponent's just going to lose to the clock here, I'm afraid. Relic, yeah, we'll take actions in response here. Opponent playing a little too slow to get there, I think. You gotta take actions, man. Gotta take... Yeah, attacking us is correct. We're just gonna decay here. We're just playing it super cautiously. We could cast IOK here actually to eat up a little bit more time, but maybe we should have. Maybe force something out of their hand so Lily could shrink it. That might actually have been good, but let's eat up a little of your clock, my friend. Inquisition. Take the Lord. Not sure why we're still playing this one out, but alright. Opponents trying to cast in their upkeep. Cast the Biomancer in their upkeep. Playing Outlands. GG. Okay. I don't know why we ran that one to the bitter end from our opponent, but we did get there. That was an excruciatingly long game one. Hope you guys did enjoy that, but boy, that was long. Man, you know, I'm like carving out a little bit of time at the end of my day. I'm like, okay, maybe this will be a quick league. Yeah, that first match took like 50 minutes, so there we go. I didn't play admittedly as quickly as I could have, but I'm on a new deck and I'm commentating, alright? So those are my excuses, and it's late at night. Maybe it's even later at night for the opponent, right? But good game, we got there. Yeah, I mean, it's the Merfolk matchup. It is what it is. As I mentioned a couple times, I think the blue splash probably makes it a little bit worse than it would be for just straight rock, but we got there, so I'll take it. And now here we are, winning the die roll, mulliganing a bad, unplayable hand, And this is a fine one. So what do we bottom? The kind of greedy thing to do is to bottom the third land. It might even be just the correct thing to do. Like, our other cards are all great. We don't know what we need, so I'm going to bottom Swamp. Temple Garden, Noble Hierarch. I'm not actually sure whether we always need to get double black like this. Obviously, we needed to get some kind of a green shock land there. But I suspect with this deck, it might be correct sometimes to get Breeding Pool there to get double blue online, especially when you have a snap opt hand. I don't know, like, we're not playing Lily of the Veil, so maybe we don't need double black there. It's an interesting thing to think about. So this is a Karn the Great Creator ramp deck, which is very bad news. Very bad news. They're just going off with Stirrings this turn 2, huh? So we want to try to, of course, be able to control the board enough and or fill the graveyard enough to make Drown in the Loch good. Good enough to beat Karn. So I think we just kind of have to kill the Noble here. Slow them down by 1 turn and then maybe Drown is live for Karn after that. Stubborn Denial in hand wouldn't be bad, but we do have Opt this turn. Problem is, I don't think the opponent's going to be playing fetch lands, probably. Alright, so now we're going to get our Breeding Pool. Another land lets us just go snap Drown in the Loch this turn and pressure Karn really well, including having Creeping Tar Pit available to attack. So I think I'm going to top that. And then we draw Inquisition, which is also very tempting in its own right. I think we do that. Think we do that? Ah, the whiff. Brutal. That's so bad, because now that doesn't even turn on Drown as a counter for the first Karn. So... new plan is to just attack, and end step we're going to snap Opt. If the opponent decides to block here, that would turn on Drown. It doesn't. Yeah, I was hoping to just take anything there with Inquisition, and then also have the line to snap Inquisition if that was really good, but... this should still be decent, like we are actually presenting lethal this upcoming turn. Of course, they will have a chump blocker. So what are they going to get here? Either way, we'll have... Okay, Pithing Needle. Naming Tar Pit, I guess. Do we counter this? Or do we just simply not really care about it? I think we have to save our Drown in the Loch. So I'm going to fetch here so they just can't blow out our fetch land. Not that they probably would. Alright, do we need... I think I'm just going to get Swamp. Then we'll let that resolve. If we could snap and counter this, like if we hadn't cast Inquisition last turn, then we would, because we'd have lethal. Another Tar Pit. Bottom you. Island Scoos. Okay. We just don't want Karn, like, animating the needle. We don't want them drawing something awesome. Getting back in this game where they don't belong back in it. So we do play out the land there as well, because now we're holding up Scoo's activation and Drown in the Loch. But we don't want to misorder those either. We don't want to missequence those. So we're just going to counter this. Feels good. Spread out our damage a little bit more this way. Fatal Push. Okay, that's lethal. Unless they have a path. Okay. Well, we had a nice progression there. Drown in the Loch showing its versatility. Despite not ideal circumstances, we're against an opponent where they didn't even play a fetch land until they never cracked a fetch land, let's put it that way. And our Inquisition whiffed, so we were hardly utilizing the graveyard to an insane degree. And yet Drown in the Loch was still perfectly functional as a removal and counter magic. Pretty cool. So, it's hard to say what the composition of their deck really is, but they did play Eldrazi Temple, so we've got to figure the Eldrazi... We got to play against like a green-white Eldrazi deck that ramps and has Karn. Spreading Seas seems good, but I don't know if we want it on the draw. Like, we have a lot of things that could be good. I think literally everything except Baloth and Surgical is in consideration. I mean, hell, even Surgical against a Karn deck, I've heard of worse things, but like, if we want to blow out Karn and Eldrazi on the stack, if we want to mess with their very bad land base. But they played a Windswept Heath, maybe it's not that bad of a land base. I think we'll leave Seas out on the draw. So that just makes our life a little easier to consider. I think we also probably actually don't want Counter Squall, because again, we're expecting a heavier Eldrazi presence, certainly than we saw here. So these are all decent options, but 2 EE might be aggressive. They play a lot of higher curve things. So can we fit those 5 cards in? Brutality might be a little bit poor. Ooh, Stubborn Denial. Don't know how to rate you. Again, just haven't seen quite enough of their deck. I'm going to play their Rejections, and that probably too much permission isn't good. So let's cut at least 1 stub. Let's say we're going to bring in all these cards. I think they're all pretty fine. Everything else looks pretty good here. I think we're supposed to leave in all discard. So play one Stubborn Denial as a gotcha card. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Like, we're not going to have too many Rotting in hand. And we'll just cut an Opt. Seems okay. Seems okay. So, are they packing, like, Stoneforge Mystic too? I just don't know. We only saw Ramp and Karn, basically. Opponent will mulligan. This is an incredibly strong hand. If we hit the second land, I think we keep it on the draw. Especially against a mulling opponent. We can just, like, really take care of their early game. Then we hit our second land. Drown in the Loch becomes a really good counterspell. Turn 1 Eldrazi Temple pass. Okay. That makes me kind of want to save my Inquisition. Or save my fetch land for a Revolted Fatal push, because they might have Thought Knot. But they might also just have, like, Matter Reshaper or something else we really have to take. So we'll Inquisition here. It'd be probably just remiss not to Inquisition. Okay, they do have Thought Knot, and they have Smasher as well, so that's a little scary. These are things our hand's not particularly great against. But we draw the Polluted Delta. Lovely. Okay, sweet. Still gotta deal with that Smasher. So they're going to take one of our pushes, and we're going to use the other. Thoughtseize, good draw. Wow. Ooh, they got the Karn too, though. Well, you know, we can pressure the Karn anyway. With Tar Pit. And we can't really beat Smasher. I think we have to take Smasher. We are representing Stubborn Denial too, if in case they have that on their radar. Interesting if the opponent just ticks up. Yeah. Okay, so we do have some good draws here. We do have some good outs. The opponent will tick down. So maybe this is Pithing Needle naming Tar Pit. Liquimetal Coating to destroy Tar Pit. Or to pseudo-destroy it. Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah. Okay. Well, they got a lot going on, don't they? Okay, so they're upkeeping this. What do we do with that? What do we do with that information? Are we just simply, like, responding with a decay on the liquimetal coating? Then drowning the Stoneforge, but then Karn is still around, and they can hardcast Batterskull. And we're going to be a little bit too shy of holding up our other drown to counter it. So do we just let liquimetal coating live? And if so, in response, we should decay SFM, I guess. Hold up Drown in the Luck for Batterskull. We draw Opt. Good draw, actually. So Breeding Pool, Tomb, Grave. We don't have any more Shocklands to fetch, so I guess I'm gonna main phase. I guess I needed to get an island, and I think I should main phase this Opt. Like, sure. I mean, we're probably just holding up Drown in the Lock, but let's see. Ooh. Yeah. Right? Like, just getting Batterskull on curve, like, guaranteed. Unless they liquimetal coating us before they try to cast anything. That's an issue. Okay. They're going to do it to the Tatland. And destroy it. Sure. I mean, this is bad, but... Oh, they're not even going to cast Batterskull this turn. Alright, so now we're priced into spending a drown here. I don't know. Maybe we did have to decay the coating. Good draw. This is what we needed, something to pressure the opponent. That's kind of what we were looking for last time around. I thought they were going to play around the... Okay, so... Let's float black. Okay, so now we do still have stub unless they drew a land. Oh, they drew Path. Okay, I mean, we stub that. And we've still got Drown in the Lock for the Batterskull, so I don't know if that was optimal to not decay the coating, but I think it's working out for us. The draw of Tarmogoyf was very crucial to it. We'd just be pretty much losing otherwise. Okay, opponent's actually dead on board with the Goyf plus the Tar Pit. I got 2 cards in hand, though. Crack in the Canopy. It's a good sign for us. Birds of Paradise. Okay, snap, huh? So since we don't have lethal this turn, I think we definitely just, like, hold up snap. Just attack with the Goyf. Are we countering this? Can't be countered? I guess not. Okay, they got a Cavern of Souls. Time to drown you in the lock. Or Abrupt Decay. Either way, that's game. Nice. I love beating Eldrazi decks, and I love beating Karn decks, and then we just beat both in one. I'm happy. I'm a happy man. Wow. Okay, so whereas our blue cards were not particularly helpful on the whole against Merfolk, granted Snapcaster Mage, if they don't have a relic, making him worse is very good there when you have already cast a Fatal Push, stuff like that. But generally speaking, I think the blue was a bit of a burden in round one, but the blue was so key to our victory there in game two, especially in game two, but overall, just having permission against a deck like that tries to go over the top of traditional mid-range decks. Well, interaction on the stack is a good way to say no to that, and especially when it's really efficient stuff like Stubborn Denial with a Tarmogoyf, or Drown in the Lock that doubles, of course, as removal. So blue looking very, very sweet there, the blue splash. And it's a good league so far. Good league so far. Onward we go. This hand is medium. It's aggressively medium, but maybe we keep it on the strength of being, like, having brutality on the play. Being hopefully whatever we need. I guess we are. I guess we are. Alright, I don't think I made any tired misclicks last game. Let's hope those all got out of my system in round one. I'm getting more tired as the league goes on, but I'm also getting warmed up, so hopefully that at least balances out. I don't know what Dark Slick Shore signifies. Historically, I tend to think of Ad Nauseam, but that's just because I used to play Ad Nauseam. Lots of other decks use it. Some Mox Opal decks use it. Possibly some blue-black X fair decks use it. Bauble. Yep. Looks like one of the Mox Opal decks. Some Whirza variant, perhaps. If so, we'll see how it goes. I think the blue splash will be well positioned here, but I have had really, really unusual luck, I guess we could say, as far as dodging those matchups goes. I understand that they're pretty tough. Ooh, stub, huh? Think we're just jamming Goyf here. Hoping to draw lands from here on out, basically, for a couple turns. Obviously, always tempting to hold up permission. So the opponent bobbled us. Okay, Shizo Death's Storehouse, giving a legendary creature fear. And then Mox Amber, Grinding Station. Alright, sack an artifact to mill 3. When an artifact ETBs, you may untap Grinding Station. I assume there's some sort of combo here, but I admit I'm not privy to what it is. So I'm going to err on the side of caution and just attack and pass. Really sucks that we haven't hit another land. But Goyf will get huge if we can, like, disrupt whatever the Grinding Station combo is. And we have trophies. We have even Snapcaster to flash in as an Ambush Viper. But I'll be honest, I don't know what we're up against. Emry. It's an Emry deck. Of course it's an Emry deck. So she's coming down. I haven't played against this card, but I just remember reading it and being like, oh god, that's going to be broken. ETB, mill 4. Can cast something. We can't do anything about this. So, do these cards combo? Like, you get to tap it and sack it, and then, yeah, so I think we need to trophy Grinding Station. Oh, yeah, we don't have trophy mana. That's embarrassing. I mean, it's not like we can do anything else with our turn anyway. We just didn't have the mana to interact. No matter what we did, unless we cast Collective Brutality, which would not have helped us here. So, okay, I have no idea. Maybe we're just dead here for all I know. I don't know if this combo has a fail rate. Yeah, obviously I have Bauble there. I don't know if we're going to be able to get him with Stubborn Denial. Hope of Girapur. This came from the hand? Or from... Yeah, that came from the hand. Okay, they have another Grinding Station in the yard, too. Oh, Emry's Summoning Sick. It needs to tap. Got it. Okay. I mean, maybe we're seeing a new brew that's about to take off, but I officially have not heard about a Grinding Station Emry build. Till your next turn, target player who was dealt combat damage by Hope cannot cast non-creature. Okay. So I think we're just flashing in Snap for pressure here, even though they have things that can trade with it. I think either of those having to trade is totally fine. So we're going to Brutality Emry. Thoughtseize. Alright, I'm going to escalate Brutality just to look at the hand, even though it might whiff. Because these trophies are uncastable, so one of them is a pretty free pitch. So we'll kill Emry, we'll look at the hand. We'll grow the Goyf. We get Unearth. Ooh, big game. And we're just going after him. Okay, so the opponent's seeing all 4 Grinding Stations. So they can chip us for 1 and then shut off our non-creature spells next turn. Legendary, they can pump a legend with this. Not yet. They can give the legend Fear, doesn't matter. So we're attacking, of course. And I don't know what kind of graveyard effects they have, besides the ones we've seen, but like we're basically just going to... The only thing we're holding up anyway is Stubborn Denial, and I think we're supposed to. So why don't we just Thoughtseize that last Grinding Station out of their hand? Don't know if that changes anything, don't know if that does anything, really. But no real reason not to that I can see. Okay, they drew land. So if we had played Skooz last turn, we would have lethal on the field. Don't know if that was better or not. Okay, Psy Master Thopterist is in the main deck. Really good to know. Yeah, I think we still hold up Stub. Don't really know what they could have with one card that would incentivize us to go wide rather than holding up a negate. Okay. Definitely stubbing the Unearth. What an interesting looking brew the opponent's on here. And we just won with only 2 lands where we couldn't even cast Assassin's Trophy. Yeah, I mean, Tarmogoyf OP, what more can you say? I think flashing in the Snapcaster proved to be obviously really important there too. And having removal for Emry was clutch. So if it wasn't already clear, I've really got no idea exactly what the opponent is up to, but looks like we need to... So this guy, legendaries cost 1 less. Exile 2 legendaries, and then you can play other legends from the graveyard. So obviously we need Graveyard Hate, Permission, and Removal. I guess we need all 3 to as much of a degree as we can afford it. EE. Probably. Alright, let's just... I don't know if we want Surgical, but we'll consider it. I know we don't want the value stuff. Ceremonious Rejection. I mean, we should at least consider it. So we're considering these 8. Problem is, I don't know how much we're going to have to come out. I think Brutality seemed fine there. Anything that kills Emry should probably be in. Drown on the Lock seems good. Yeah, we don't really have Grave Hate in this deck in the 75 besides Skoos and Surgical. So I guess we are bringing in Surgicals, most likely. What are our worst cards here? Let's cut a Tracker. We're probably going to have to cut all the ops, so let's just start by doing that. I mean, Push, Brutality, Snap, these all seem like good cards. We definitely can't get too Threat Light either, because we do need to end the game. But maybe we can say Tracker can go. This is giving us 5 slots to work with. Alright. 1 Surgical, 1 EE. I mean, they... Counter Squall might be a little too slow on the draw, actually. Why don't we play Rejections instead, and we play another Snap, or another Surgical, another EE, or both? Maybe only 1 Surgical is fine. Let's go with the EEs. These are good at cleaning up the Thopter tokens, too. This could be horribly incorrect. I don't think it can be horribly incorrect, actually. But it's probably not optimal either. Yeah, I don't know if I should have re-examined Stubborn Denial as well. I don't know. I just don't know. Of course, my friends, you will have to let me know. Opponent's keeping 7. We've got all the removal. I guess we're supposed to keep it. Functional hand, utility in the land base, lots O removal. Sure. If they've got like the recursive stuff and a really good hand, we might not get there, but... Okay, Hope is pretty spicy here. I think we are priced into just simply pushing that. Just gonna do it main phase. Don't know what they could have. But this is slowing down their Mox Amber ramp. And, of course, it could ping us and then stop us from brutalitying the Emry next turn if that's what they've got. I'm assuming that's how this works, that like they can add colorless off of a colorless legend, but To be fair, that depends on the definition of color now, doesn't it? I don't think we're going to spend our brutality on another hope, so now I'm pretty annoyed that I pushed the first one. But I suppose just holding up rejection is fine here. It's a good draw. If they attack us, then sack, then play something, then they'll maybe get us, but we will have pulse to kill whatever they play. Until your next turn. Yeah, it's pretty rough, actually. Do we just counter the bauble? I think I might. Yeah, I think I might. They seem like they don't necessarily have that much else. This could be bait, but... Tarmo Goat. Yeah. Gangzhou Castle. They've got this whole cycle of lands in here. I love it. Alright, so Collector Roof looks like it'd be really good against this deck, just pointing that out. I think Oof over rejection all day in this particular matchup, but I do repeat what I said in the deck tech, that rejection is very nicely positioned right now in the meta as a whole. Thoughtseize. If we Thoughtseize, we cannot fire up the Tar Pit, but it's probably pretty good. And it'll grow the Goyf too, so let's do it first, I suppose. Unearth and Sigh. So I think we just take the Unearth here, actually. Whenever you cast an artifact and then you sack an artifact to draw a card, are we brutalitying the Hope right now? That's my big question. That's the $1 million question. And just going full race mode and like stopping them from eventually getting us with the Hope. I think I'm going to. I don't know if it's correct. Emry is an issue without it. Like, then we have to beat Emry and Sigh. But we do have a huge Goyf and the Tar Pits, and we do have Pulse to take care of whatever is the most clear and present danger, I suppose. We're muddling our way through this one, my friends. Hopefully we get there. Opponent doesn't crack any stars. Maybe they'll begin now. Sure will. There it is. Do they have an artifact to follow up? They sure do. Pretty annoying. Do they keep digging? They sure do. Ugh. The value, the Sigh value, it's just extending the game. We're obviously just going to pulse the Sigh, and we can beat 2 Thopters, but it does extend the game. Might have been slightly more correct to attack first just to conceal more information, but I really don't think that matters. Okay, what'd the opponent top deck? Looks like that new legend who... Is it Keithis, the Hidden Hand? Yeah, so they only have one legend, so they need 3 total legends plus him to be on the field for this to do anything. Oh no, they have the Hopes in the graveyard. Sure. That's... yeah, I forgot about that. That's wild. That's so good. Oh, how annoying. Yep. We're going wide. We're going real wide. That was an incredible top deck from the opponent. And here comes our Flood, but we do have the inevitability of Tar Pit. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just hold up Rejection and try to win with Tar Pit. I suppose sitting back with Goyf is now better than attacking. Alright, opponent brick. Opponent, please, brick. Nah, they definitely didn't brick. But I just don't know what it is. Oh, boy. Yep. Oh, they're just drawing. Okay. Okay, yeah, we're not going to counter that because it doesn't really do anything. They then find Emry. They have Oko in the deck too. Woo! Okay, so we're just going to die to the beats unless we draw something good this turn. Don't really know what it can be. And are they going to cash... They're doing the math now to see whether they should cash in Hope, probably. Or are they just going to draw again? That's live too, I suppose. Yeah, they've got enough to do this. They do unless we... So I think we counter this one. Oh, I didn't even notice they had mana floating. That's annoying. And it's cheaper anyway. Okay, so I just misplayed by countering that. But at the same time, like, holding this up doesn't do anything. We're just dead to the board. What a crazy, crazy couple turns from the opponent. But we had them dead to rights, and then they top deck this guy instantly. So that's pretty bad. Pretty unlucky. Alright, I mean, Tarmogoyf getting changed to a 3/3 doesn't really change anything here. We draw a Trophy. If Blooming Marsh was an untapped land, I wonder if that would be enough to live. 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got 5 in the air. Plus, they can, of course, just send everything in. But if this was an untapped land, we attack for 3. They attack us for 5. We block 1. Yeah, I mean... They can also gain life with Oko. Yeah. We are just dead here. Okay. We could make him see it, but it's been a long league. The clock's not relevant. The opponent earned the win there. Happy to give it to him. Whew. Alright, so on the play, Counter Squall becomes more attractive, but they are showing me way more payoffs that are creatures like Kethis, however you say that. We could always consider this other Surgical. I mean, on the evidence of that, Lily the Last Hope actually is interesting to kill Hopes, to kill Thopters as just an eventual win con. And then even Damnation. Damnation might be going too far, though. I think we have the better board, despite how out of hand it can get on their end. Maybe, I think we're just going to stay away from Counter Squall, probably too high variance. Unless we think Counter Squall is better than Stubborn Denial on the play. It might be. Let's start by swapping 1 for 1. I think I'm going to play the Last Hope and see how it goes. And how good really is Surgical? They just seem to have so many different, like, win conditions or value pieces. I think just playing 1 Surgical is still fine. Do we just play 1 fewer stub? I really don't know. I think setting up like this is pretty fine. I don't want to change all that much. Once again, I don't want to be too threat light. I think Lily the Last Hope on the play has got real potential here. I'm sure they have progressions where they just totally ignore her and win. But... Okay. Okay, this is a keep. And I think it's a keep where we hold up turn 1 rejection, honestly. The earlier we can use that, the better with a Snapcaster around. And that makes Drown in the Lock better. So even though it would be nice to play the Tar Pit this turn, I think we can afford not to, but they didn't do anything, so sure. Another snap. Alright, now I think we do get Tar Pit down because Drown in the Lock can't counter anything that Rejection can't anyway. I don't really see them filling their graveyard this turn. Wishclaw Talisman. Ooh, jeez. How many different cards are in their deck? That's wild. And we cannot counter it because it's an artifact, but it's black. Super annoying. Yeah. Our hand just happens to... Like, this hand would be great against either of the progressions they showed us game 1 and 2. It's like we're against 3 different decks. Really, it looks that way. So they've got to main phase this thing. Or not necessarily main phase, but only during their turn. Yeah, we just don't have answers for this. But now we do, because they fill their graveyard. So, good. So we're going to end step drown Emry. Very unrealistic to drown the Merfolk, but we're going to do it anyway. Ooh, okay, surgical. So I think we are going to just surgical. I mean, so part of obviously generally you want a surgical on the draw step, but if we wait till their turn, then they can do maybe Wishclaw, Talisman, shenanigans in response. I don't know if that can punish us or not, but I think I'm going to surgical one of these two. Probably Emry. Just main phase right now. Inform the decision the rest of our turn, and note that we have Snap Surgical available, which is huge. Oh, we get an Emry out of the hand. Gotta love it. Alright. So, their hand is Oko, which we can't do anything about, Jace, which we can't do anything about, besides pressure with our stuff, admittedly. And 2 Spire of Industry. Let's see what the heck's going on with their deck. So we got it out of the hand, got it out of the graveyard. They have 3 Fatal Push, 3 Grinding Station, 3 Hope, 2 more Kethis the Hidden Hand, so that is a viable surgical target, but not necessary right now. A 2nd Oko, a couple of Sai, a couple of Teferi, 3 Unearth, a 2nd Wishclaw. Alright. I think we're just saying go here. Play out one of those Spires, so their hand is Spire, Jace, Oko, 1 unknown. And again, we don't really have answers to this stuff. All we can do is like flash in snaps to pressure. And we have the Tar Pit for pressure as well. So actually one of their scarier cards right now is Fatal Push. There comes the Yoko. Oh, I punted because I was so wrapped up in surgical. I didn't notice Snap drown in the lock. Man, that's bad. You know, the Yoko's not that big a deal, though. I guess Snap Surgical here for pressure is still fine. But that makes activating Creeping Tar Pit a lot more awkward next turn. But yeah, I probably should have just countered Oko. Oh, we got one out of their hand. Oh, nice. Well, that's pretty awesome. All right, never mind. That was a 200 IQ play. We draw another rejection. Okay. So, how much do we want to just attack Oko and let Jace resolve? It's actually an interesting question. So, if we only do 2 to Oko right now, he can start making Elks, which line up well against Snapcaster Mage, and Creeping Tar Pit will not even finish him off next turn, probably. All depends on the draws, of course. You know, Jace, the mill, the draw, that's all pretty annoying. But kind of think we just gotta pressure the Planeswalkers right now. Maybe we'll draw another land next turn and we'll be able to at least bluff a little bit better. Okay. Could have left Breeding Pool open here. It's technically the more correct land to leave open, but nobody's playing around a 1-mana green instant. Well, maybe now that Veil of Summer is in the format, maybe they should be, but we wouldn't have Veil of Summer against this deck, even if it was in our side. Which I think that when Anthony first proposed this Sultai list to me, which is a little bit more permission heavy than I've historically seen, I suggested Veil, because Veil was new at the time, or newer, and it's an exciting card. I haven't had the chance to play it yet, and I was like, hey, I actually think Veil of Summer might be pretty spicy here. Okay, so here comes the Witchclaw Talisman. Anthony, I remember agreeing, but ultimately we didn't go with it. So they don't have to reveal it. It's Teferi. Pretty rough. Wow, Bouncing Wishclaw, yep, pretty good. And they did play that last Spire out this turn. Okay, so their hand is Jace. 2 unknowns. Whatever their draw step was and whatever their draw off of Teferi was. And then they animate the food token. Okay, we draw push. So this is interesting because we're kind of priced into, like, we kind of want to use Snapcaster this turn because, like, unless we kill Teferi, which we're not priced into doing, this stuff is just kind of rotting in hand. The other thing we can do is just go all in on the attacks, go totally shields down, but take care of both their Planeswalkers this turn. We push the food, we animate the Tar Pit. I think we're going to go for that. If the opponent has a Fatal Push, that's a little scary. But let's try to kill both the walkers right now. I'm attacking that way in case they have push. I think they're likelier to push the Tar Pit, and therefore I sent Snap at Oko because I want to get him off more. But they didn't have it, so we're good. Alright, they've got the Jace, but did they have anything else? They have anything better? Looking like a Jace. They're just going to tap their mana in a more painless way. Okay, so Loyalty 5 is just going to die here. Unless they have something like a push. We draw Maelstrom Pulse. Interesting. That plays around Fatal Push. We just pulse the Jace. But I think we're supposed to make him have it here. Nice. Oh, you know what? Opal was not even active there. There's a lot to keep track of. This deck is brand new to me. I think I'm playing okay considering that, but I'm certainly not playing optimally, so sorry about missing little things like that. As always, the live commentary is unhelpful in this regard, but we're giving it a good old shot. So they get the Talisman back. They don't use it, though. I think I'm just going to pulse it right now. We've got Drown in the Lock for counter magic. Hopefully we're holding that up the rest of the game. So now we can actually counter planeswalkers or creatures. We can kill a creature. Our position should be really good. We are behind on the clock. We've got to be mindful of that. And our clock's going to be pretty slow, but we do have one. Because again, I don't think we're animating Tar Pit too aggressively until further notice. Alright, let's hit this with a rejection. Our rejections have been dead in hand for a lot of the game. We're still holding up another rejection this way. Doesn't seem like they'll have another thing to do here, and they don't. Okay, Thoughtseize. Sure. Fatal Push. Do we counter this? Like, we can get punished for exactly one turn by countering this. I think we do, actually. Because, like, we just need a clock, and tapping out with Tar Pit means we're shields down anyway. So let's hope they don't draw, like, a creature, or let's hope they don't draw something that really punishes us exactly this turn. A lot of their good draws are out of the deck. We've seen to that with Surgical Snap Surgical. I'm just going to reject this. Okay. Okay, we should be good. Unless they radically out-top deck us, we should be good. Playing that land doesn't do much because we're pretty far away from being able to animate Tar Pit and hold up Snap Drown, which is kind of what we need to do. We're just holding up Snap Drown forever. Alright, drawing Trophy is good. Maybe drawing Trophy makes me want to start playing Outlands. Yep. You will be countered, Oko. Opponent scoops. All right, all right. Well, 3 very different matches so far. And the Saltier Sultai deck is taking them all down. taking them all down to the lock where they are never seen again. Drowned in the lock. I think this card straight up is just going on the thumbnail. Like, A, it's the spicy new tech, and B, it's just been incredible this league. Really incredible. Yeah. Wow. Okay. 3-0. 3-0. Let's carry on, my friends. Let's carry on. The permission was huge there. No question about it. Really, again, helping us beat things that they don't go over the top of us as hard as the Karn Eldrazi deck does, but they certainly get the value. All those planeswalkers, a lot of those creatures, when they hit the field, they just get the value. So, you know, it is in theory like a really powerful tool that midrange has at its disposal. Permission. Another medium hand, but another respectable enough keep. It's just the wide world of Modern. We've got no idea what we're against, so we're just keeping the lands and spells hand. More lands. Okay. Okay. Pretty hard to get a read on what the opponent's up to. I mean, Polluted Delta, is this just Grixis Control? If so, running out Skoos could be pretty bad here. But it's not necessarily getting any better the longer the game goes on. I think we're supposed to say go. I'm suspicious for Grixis Control. It's going to turn on their Mana Leak. It's going to turn on whatever other permission they have at this this particular juncture. Maybe I'll try the Skoos next turn to try to clear the way for Tracker, but the problem is they're then on Cryptic Mana. Alright, we draw another Skoos. Sure. Let's try this one, I guess. Well, I'm going to play out this basic forest. If they just bolt it, I'm going to eat their land. Or eat whatever they provide me. Because if they maybe they're on Taziger, maybe they're on something else that cares about sheer quantity of graveyard cards. Yeah, sure enough, it is bolt. Obviously, just like this hand is terrible against Grixis Control because it has the value, but being on the draw and not having any way to force anything through is just rough. We draw a push. Okay, we're gonna test the water with a Skoos. Try to clear the way for a Tracker next turn, I guess. I'm sure this is a Cryptic Command. Or maybe something else. 2 for 1. Kolaghan's Command. Snapcaster Mage. Hey, Snapcaster Mage. Yep. Alright, we're in for another grindy one, guys. I'm hoping for a couple quick matches at the end here. It doesn't look like we're going to get them. You know, I'm not going to say I miss the linear days of Modern. I really don't. But sometimes, you know, the grind is just a little too much. Like, let's get some quicker matches decided, huh? But it's alright. This is what we sign up for when we're on BGX. Just every now and then it's like, alright, you know, I could use I could use a match that doesn't go all the way to time like the Merfolk one did. We're just pushing here. They're not showing, you know, we can't be sure they're on any kind of a more valuable push target than Snap anytime soon. They probably have Creeping Tar Pit in their deck. They might have some of the 3/1 Flying Fairies. Oh, Thoughtseize, good draw. Great draw. That's what we want. Now we're forcing Tracker through, probably, unless they have a totally stacked hand. Drown in the lock. Yup. Okay, so they're still live for Mana Leak or what have you, but let's try for the Tracker. Don't have another Drown in the Lock or a Mana Leak. Don't have it. We need to draw at least one card here. They have it. Okay, well. Drown in the Lock definitely going on the thumbnail because it's wrecking us just like it's wrecking the opponents. Yeah, really good card for blue-black X fair decks. Okay, we draw Brutality, sure. Yeah, casting it now can maybe clear the way for Tar Pit. I suppose we're supposed to. It'd be better if we had a threat to follow it up with, though. But the opponent not making land drops and not doing anything main phase just means I'm sure they've got a ton of gas in hand. Ton of Brutality targets. I've told you guys before that I hate playing against Grixis decks when I'm on BGX. They just have absolutely everything. Sure. Well, their life total's on the lowest side, the lower side. Problem is, I'm sure they have removal for the Tar Pit, and we're flooded. We are flooded for sure. But still correct here to attack in my view. Make them have it. They could just have permission in hand. It's very unlikely, but they could. Where's our permission at, huh? How about some permission for us? Alright. I don't know how loose trophying the Snapcaster is here. It's probably pretty loose, so let's just be disciplined with it. If the opponent's been sitting on a Planeswalker, maybe they now have the courage to run it out. We draw Drown in the Lock. Okay. Would have been really nice to have in hand a little earlier. But it's really nice now. We're going to counter it. Oh, jeez. This blows out our Drown in the Lock. Alright. Cancel. Even if we kill the Snapcaster Mage first, we can't get there? Jeez. Okay. Oh, man. How bad is that? Okay, they're going to have 9 cards. I'm just going to scoop there. I don't think we come back from that. This is what I mean. Like, you're playing... Here's my rant. You're playing Kolaghan's Command, Cryptic Command, Snapcaster Mage. Draw 4 cards. Like... What? Like... What? How is any other fair deck supposed to beat Grixis? Now, I complain about this every time, and I do actually end up beating them at least some of the time, so obviously it's doable. Obviously, I exaggerate, right? But still has never stopped me from complaining. Are we going to try to cheese out a win on the play with some Spreading Seas? I think maybe the answer is yes. I don't know if we want anything else here. They haven't showed us Liliana, so we won't bring in Baloth till we see that. EE, Damnation, Extraction, or Ejection, these cards just are not where we want to be. Normally I'd side out a land in a grindy matchup, but we're already only on 22, so I don't think I'm supposed to. So, with that in mind, these three cards definitely have to come in. I mean, all of our cards are pretty good. The problem is their cards are just more powerful. I think I'm going to cut Decay. Probably just cutting pushes. There's one Seize. I could see Stubborn Denial being maybe high variance. I think that might be a good way to look at it. So let's cut one Stub, one Opt, play our Seize on the play. See what the heck the opponent, what the heck else the opponent has. What other ungodly X for ones they have in store for us. I'm going to be annoyed if this deck stops us in our tracks for a chance to 5-0 on the debut of this list, but at the same time, it's not exactly a surprise. Again, these Grixis decks just have value for days. When they're against another fair deck trying to take it slow, I think they're pretty favored. But we can definitely still get there. So let's try. Let's try to cheese them out here in Game 2, and then who knows what we're going to do Game 3. But let's start by winning Game 2. It's an acceptable hand. I think it's a keep. Doesn't have the cheese. Doesn't have much interaction, but it has some. And Goyf is a good early play here. Tracker is a great turn 4 play. We're way more likely to resolve her being on the play. And to follow up on my sideboarding decision, like, even though it's called Grixis Control, it feels a little bit more like a mid-range deck, so a part of me does wonder how good it would be to side out, some number of discard, because it could also go to the top deck wars, right? But I don't know. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation there as far as I can tell. Like, if you don't side out the discard, then you... they have Spell Snare, too. They're just, immune to BGX decks. They're just immune to them. So, yeah, you don't side out the discard. You can top deck it when you're in the top deck war. You do side out the discard, then, you can't check for permission. You can't take away their X for ones before they hit the field. So, yeah. I don't know what's optimal necessarily. We're certainly not playing out the tracker until next turn. Into open mana. Okay, Counter Squall. Yeah, I think we have to jam the tracker before they get to 4 mana. If they've got the counter, they've got the counter, but they can't drown it in the lock. Nice. No counter. Beautiful. What land is better? Doesn't matter much. So maybe they're sitting on a drown in the lock that they could not use right then and there. The card does have some downfalls, for sure. Oh, they just pass. They just pass. Alright, we could get super greedy and try to play another tracker, but there's no way they don't have permission, so... Plus, if they have 2 drowns, or if... Yeah, well... They can't counter the first one with drown. Do we go for the mega high upside? So, the only permission they probably have this turn that they didn't last turn was another Cryptic command. So if they Cryptic this tracker, then they don't have mana to do anything to the other tracker. I'm going to go for the high upside of playing the other tracker, then trying to make 2 clues off of my tomb. Greedy? Yes, definitely. But I think we're unfavored enough that we generally take greedy lines here. And maybe it'll really pay off. Whoa, it pays off. Ha ha. That's a feel-good moment. I think they're sitting on some drowns in the lock, so we don't like want to cast spells. I mean, we'll drown something of theirs if we have to, maybe. Or, of course, Counter Squall is live, but... also cool to just crack a clue, man. Alright. What's the opponent got that they're doing on their own end step? Steam Vents, okay. Fatal Push. Yes. Snapcaster, Fatal Push. Brutal. Yeah. Alright, that's one explanation for what they had in hand. We still come out ahead here, and I don't think we can play scared of that by not cracking clues. But that definitely hurts. And then we have a bunch of reactive cards in hand, which is not the end of the world, honestly, but let's crack a clue first. Inquisition, pretty good. Spell Snare, Snapcaster, Mage, Kolaghan's Command. So we can take... yeah, why don't we take Snap? And then Snap Inquisition. Now, their Spell Snare is still pretty good against us, but I still think taking those other cards is way better. And we can, of course, play around it and maybe counter it with our own Stubborn Denial at some point. Mystic Sanctuary, they put K-Command back on the top. Yikes. Okay, so we can try to draw out their Spell Snare with the Ooze. I think that's fine. We can fight over it. Probably should fight over it, honestly. Okay. They're taking a trade because that's good for them with a K-Command imminent. But hopefully we can mess with them via Scoozy. Okay, what's the... I think Drown in the Lock is the one to cast here. Alright, so if we go... we use our blue-black lands, we can hold up 2 Scooz activations, and we're still holding up Counter Squall. So now, before they draw the K-Command, do we just eat both their snaps? Or at least one. We're not holding up Counter Squall anymore, but I think we should. Yeah, let's just eat their snaps so they can't buy them back. And of course, we're out of bolt range now, too. Now, they can K-Command us to make us discard while we're tapped out, but not terribly concerning. Yeah, I think I'm going to eat one thing here. Hold up one activation. Maybe I shouldn't have tapped Overgrown Tomb for the clue. Maybe I should have played Island first and used Island to do that, just to be even safer. But my thinking was we're going to get the shores down this turn and sandbag Island for tracker and brutality purposes. So, yeah. We'll see. Probably won't matter, but if they have had a couple like real good draws off the top that we don't know about, then maybe it will. Okay. Polluted Delta, so we have Pool, Grave, Tomb all down, so Delta cannot fetch anything. So Delta's a dead card besides the aforementioned stuff. Alright, we're going to try to go all the way with Skoos. I think we're going to eat another one of our things this turn due to that. Put them on a 2-turn clock. Maybe they have Cryptic, tap down, draw. Or bounce draw. We'll obviously fight that. They have K command in hand. So they do have the mana to do both, but we can beat it. Oh, they've got Fatal Push? Okay. So is it better to counter Squall or to stub? I don't know. Let's just stub it. Seems less conditional. So they're trying to pick out a reasonable line here for K command. I don't think they have one. I'm not mistaken, right? They do still have a Kolaghan's command in hand. Yeah, they put it back on top. Okay, now we will eat good old Goyf. Okay, opponent's dead on board. We have Counter Squall to counter whatever they drew. We sandbag our lands to play around the K command non-targeted discard, so they can't just brute force our permission out of our hand, and that's the scoop. All right, guys, hey, we can take a game off this Grixis value pile. Maybe I'm just always complaining too much about the deck. Maybe it's very beatable. I don't know. So Abrupt Decay doesn't look any better. None of this stuff looks any better than it did before. I think our sideboarding is good. We just, like, how do we rate these missing opts and stubs versus other options? Stub might get better on the draw. But the rest of our, you know what? Let's just play without Spreading Seas on the draw. I think that's totally fine. I don't think we've seen Creeping Tar Pit. So we got Stubby D opt coming back in. That feels good. What should our last card be? We could have a Fatal Push to help play the tempo game. We could play or just, it's like a Push or a Bailoff, or a Seize. Just a cheeky one of Seize. Pretty bad, but I think we just play another threat. It's not a very good one in the matchup. But maybe we get a blowout against a K command, so I like it. We got that Bailoff in hand. This hand looks like a straight-up green-black rock hand. It's a pretty good one. We'll keep it. Definitely awkward to not have blue. Prospect of drawing blue cards, especially with how important blue can be early in these matchups, but we've got a really good just like rock curve, and sure enough, we instantly hit a low curve blue card. Pretty annoying. But yeah, how good would the fetch land be here? Obviously, growing the Goyf is big game too. Well, they're going to do that for us, so sure. Okay, so they only have 2 lands, but they do have Narset, K-Command, Bolt Bolt, Cryptic. So we are going to, I think, take Narset. That's going to make Goyf huge, bigger than all their anything they can handle. And Narset is the most important X for one they've got. K-Command targeting us can be good too with Baloth. So yeah, I think it's a pretty clear Narset take. Okay, you know, their hand is extremely powerful. If they hit their lands on curve. If they don't, you know, anything can happen. Yeah, we just jam Goyf. Okay, obviously their good draws at this stage are Spell Snare, Fatal Push, things like this, or just lands, so they've got a lot of good draws. They can definitely just double bolt a Goyf too, which would be pretty fine for us, but still might prove to be a winning line for the opponent if we, like, just fail to hit blue mana into the mid-game. Okay, so they didn't fetch end step, which leads me to believe they didn't draw a land. Maybe they have now? Or maybe they just, okay, EE on 2. No land. Huh. Okay, so another blue card, very annoying, but not a bad time to Brutality. And even though these blue cards are dead, we don't want to pitch them just yet. Like, that's just 2 value negative, just to drain. Oh, a couple Cryptics. Alright. Well, I think we actually take a Cryptic because, again, the K-Command should be good for us. And they don't have double red to double bolts. So we're going to play for the very long game, take a Cryptic command. Definitely would, under many circumstances, take the Kolaghan's command. But if we just draw a blue land, let's just draw like a tracker. Oh, that's painful. Alright, but we attack with the Goyf. I guess we're just going to play another Goyf. Yeah, we can't run out the other tracker into bolts, and the Goyf is a 6/7, so opponent kind of needs to draw a Fatal Push. Please don't draw it. Just, why do I say these things out loud? Why do I say them out loud? Opponent stuck on the lands though, and we hit our blue land. So now we get to go tracker and make a land and have blue next turn, and they're gonna bolt tracker, and that's okay. Okay. So it's very interesting to just hardcast Baloth here, but I think we're going to keep looking for that K-Command value. That could be game-winning. And I don't mind holding up Drown in the Lock here, so let's crack a clue. Looking for another Tarmogoyf, basically. Another land. Yeah, I can live with that. We're holding up Opt and Drown this way. Sure. So do we fetch first? Probably not necessary. It's not like we have a ton of terrible cards that we, like, need to leave on the bottom. Opponent might have permission here that they would consider just spending to have a mana-efficient turn. Inquisition, I think I like that. We'll top you. And then are we cracking Peatland? Yeah, probably. The 5th land gives us the freedom to do that. Alright, so we're not going to have Peatland, so we're going to have double black, 1 blue, 1 green. Let's get Breeding Pool. So now we've got 2 of every color. Snap. Cool. Hex Drinker. Potentially cool. Let's just Inquisition. Drown in the Loch. So we can compete over this with our own Drown, or we can just let it resolve and then go snap Inquisition. Gonna opt for the latter. Okay, so they just have Bolt, Bolt, K command. Kind of want to just take a Bolt here. But them having Snap, Push, Snap, Bolt is pretty bad. I think we're going to take Snap. Just taking the 2-for-1s. We'll just be patient with our Hex Drinker, that's all. Thought Scour. Target themselves, milling over an Inquisition and a land. Those are 2 pretty good cards that they just milled. Desperately, of course, digging for the 3rd land, which is the correct thing to do. Will they just main phase a Bolt here? They will not. It might be time to just hard cast a Bailoff and get this game over with. Okay, Snap drew out the Bolt, so major change of plans. It is Hex Drinker time. Sexy Hexy coming to steal yo game. Okay, that's pretty good. Another Thought Scour milling 2 lands. Oh my god, poor opponent. They're probably so tilted right now from that, especially if they don't hit a land here. That's unlucky, and they scoop. What? Well, you know, we got lucky. We got lucky that they were stuck on lands, but you know what? I actually think our hand was capable of competing with them, even if they curved out. Namely because we were almost certain to get the Bailoff value off of that K command, and because we were not priced into taking the K command, which we maybe otherwise would be if we didn't have Bailoff, we were able to take other things and really compete with the opponent. Sometimes the K command, it's just a bridge too far. It's just that one too many 2-for-1, right? I'm, again, pretty tired. Sorry if I just didn't speak articulately there whatsoever. It's just the straw that broke the camel's back, basically, is having to either take away a K command and fight through the other X-for-1s like Snap and Cryptic, or vice versa. But because we were able to ignore the K command, at least partially, that I think would have let us really compete with what the opponent was doing, even if they didn't get mono screwed. But as it so happens, they got stuck on 2 lands, and that was all she wrote. So, with Saltier Sultai, new and improved, drowning opponents in the lock, we're 4-0, guys. We're 4-0. What is this? It's very exciting, that's what it is. Alright, Flair, wake up. Wake up. Finish the league strong. Let's get the 5-0, guys. Let's get it. Alright, we got another BG Rock hand. I think we're supposed to keep it on the strength of our good Game 1 cards like Inquisition, Brutality, Tarmogoyf. Snow-covered island. We're against all the blue stuff today. Bauble, Opal. Okay. Emry. Turn 1 Emry. Very, very fun. Very fair. Okay, so they're going to get a free... Admittedly, only Damping Sphere is the worst thing next turn. Or Bauble. They're going to upkeep Bauble. Sure. Alright, so now that they have the floor of those things... Even though our Inquisition could technically come back to bite us, we're still supposed to cast it. We can kill Emry next turn. Yeah, this is a great example of it coming back to bite us. Sword of the Meek in the graveyard is not very good. So this is Emry with the Thopter Sword combo. And they draw Astrolabe. They get to get a free... What? Bauble? Sure. And then they play Watery Grave, so we know 2 lands in hand plus 1 unknown. And we're definitely going to kill Emry to stop this free value every time. Okay. So the opponent's already gotten some good value there, but it's not like all hope is lost. We do have some good cards in hand. Being on the draw really hurt with their turn 1 Emry with a bunch of garbage. And then turn 3 Whirza. Like, yeah, okay. A lot of people say this card's getting banned. Yeah, they might be right. They might just be right. Okay. What the... Okay. How insane can it get? Turn 1 Emry. Turn 2 free Bauble. Turn 3 Whirza and Thopter Foundry and activate Thopter Foundry. Twice? Three times? Infinite times, because this is the combo. Okay. We have Pulse to live, but we're dead then to the Construct and the Whirza. Maybe not strictly dead that turn. Because the Construct will be a lot smaller. So I don't... Because, look, in theory, if we draw exactly Pulse, and then the following turn we draw an untapped land, we can Pulse the Thopters, and then we can Trophy and drown Whirza and Construct. But we will have taken some beats by then. Maybe we'll still lose to the Thopter Foundry. I'm not trying to be impolite by not scooping here. But I think we do, in theory, have an out. And we're playing for the 5-0, so... And the opponent doesn't need to make, you know, a ridiculous number of Thopters. Okay, activating Whirza, playing Pithing Needle. So they just go through their whole deck, Liliana the Veil. Alright. War of Invention. We could make them play it out. I'll scoop to this. I don't think we have outs anymore. I had never been comboed off on by Whirza, as I mentioned earlier, against the round 3 brew that I thought was maybe Whirza. I've been dodging this matchup, and like the 1 or 2 times I've played it, they haven't really managed to go off. So It's gonna be pretty annoying if we lose to that absolute nut draw. And get our 5-0 taken away. But look, I've been pessimistic a couple times this league already, and it's turned out okay, right? So let's just see if we can get there, huh? Can we get there? Can we get this 5-0? Let's find out. So would be really nice to have Plague Man here. We don't. I don't think we want Lily. I suppose we're playing Rejections. Probably playing EE. Possibly playing Counter Squall, but the problem is two of their major payoffs in the form of Emry and Whirza, and then there's the surgical consideration again, right? So, once again, I'm not exactly clear on what's the best. I think we are gonna take out some of the slower things here, maybe 1 Scooz, 2 Tracker. I think Scooz was better against the brew that we faced than it's going to be here. Alright. I think we kind of need all of our kill spells against Whirza Emry. I mean, maybe the other Scooz is even on the chopping block. Is 2 Hexy, 4 Goyf, 3 Snap. That's a very low threat count. It's a very low threat count. Let's just leave in a Scooz as just a bear with upside. Okay, so what are our best cards here? I think we want at least 1 EE. Probably just the Rejections. But Rejection can't hit Whir, Counter Squall can. Okay. I'm pretty convinced on at least one of each of these. I think Stubby D is a... Let's play Counter Squall over Stubby D on the play. Let's cut another Opt. This is all very haphazard. I'm actually somewhat interested in 2 copies of EE. I think that's pretty legit here. And Brutality kills Emry and can take a Whir. I don't know if we want 2, but I guess we're just going to play 2. You can tell me, you know, what you would do with this list. Of course, I'm extremely out of my depth in this particular sideboarding decision because it's my first time out with Anthony's list, and it's my first time really playing against Whirza. And, oh yeah, the other times I've played it, it's been the paradoxical outcome version, excuse me. I've just somehow managed to dodge the best deck in the format for a while now, so I guess that's a good thing, right? But it means I'm kind of feeling my way through the matchup here live for your entertainment, right? But that worked out for us so far. Let's see if we can get there. Let's see if the luck is on our side. Opponent mulls, the luck's on our side officially. It's officially on our side. This hand's great, by the way. We got the disruption, we got the clock. What more do you want? Okay, Astrolabe, Opal, Foundry. Probably just taking Foundry, but if we want, I mean, we can take Foundry next turn. Probably, unless I don't think they play Artifact lands, and they need Snow to cast Astrolabe anyway. I still am kind of keen to take Foundry, because, like, they're going to play it turn 2 if we don't take it now. I kind of wanted to go Goyf next turn. So it's a little unfortunate that they have a hand that they can dump out so quickly. It means maybe turn 3 discard is not even good enough, but of course they're likely to top deck higher end stuff. And maybe, just maybe, we'll want to Thoughtseize this turn, depends on what we draw, but of course I do want to go Goyf. So they drew a Bauble. Alright, they got 3 fresh cards in hand. They're going to have 3 mana next turn. They're going to Bauble us. So they know we have a Pulse. You know what? I think I do kind of want to Thoughtseize here. I think we're putting the clock off. I know that's not ideal. Well, hold up. The clock is paramount in this matchup. The clock is absolutely paramount. And, yes, if they have, multiple opals or something, maybe that punishes us, but we have the pulse now. I think I'm going with the Goyf. It's definitely feels a little sketchy, but if we can't tap out for a threat turn 2 on the play, especially when it's our best threat, when can we, right? I think we just have to go for it. These decks grind really well. Granted, my understanding is Paradoxical Outcome is the deck that really has near inevitability with the grind, whereas this deck doesn't necessarily grind in top deck quite as well. But I'm still pretty interested in playing the Goyf there. And we are rewarded because they don't play anything this turn, so now we get to Thoughtseize, and we can hold up Counter Squall. So this is all good, and I guess we'll Thoughtseize now in case it grows the Goyf. Whirza and Urza. We're going to take the Urza because it's the value upon ETB. And because Counter Squall can stop the Whir. So the question then becomes, do we just hold up Counter Squall for basically the rest of the game? That makes, obviously we want to draw some lands. I don't know what they can really whir for. Bridge stops the Goyf, but Pulse stops the Bridge. Okay, they're just going for Whir now. This is pretty good for us, actually. Okay, opponent's totally top deck dependent. We've got a Goyf that's going to kill them in 3 hits, and they immediately top deck Emry. You've got to be kidding. The instant top deck of Emry. Yes, we have the out to her, but that's pretty annoying, because now we just have to kill it. Otherwise, they're going to play Foundry or Bauble or something bad. And now we don't have the out to a Foundry off the top. And now we're tapped out. But once again, opponent totally top deck dependent. Scoop. All right, guys. All right. We are against the best deck in the format. That's the bad news. The good news is we are BGX and we can beat anyone. And we're 1 game away from the 5-0 on the debut. So let's take another look at the side. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm no expert here. Yeah, a lot of the rock stuff that I would normally bring in is just not in this list. We don't have Oof. We don't have Plague Man. But we do have a different set of circumstances being on the draw. So Stubby D gets a little bit better. I mean, it's possible it's just bad to have left out a rejection in the first place against this deck. Yeah, I think at least rejection comes back in on the draw. I'm gonna move away from our Skoos. This is making us super threat light. We maybe even bring a tracker back because we're not that fast anyway, so maybe we play the better, snowball-y threat. I don't know if that's correct, but rejection. Okay, so I like the rejection. Do we like another stubborn denial there? I just see nothing I want to cut. Except unless we're just not playing with the tracker. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 threats plus tar pits. That's not very many. I think we're playing tracker here on the draw. And then what? Oh, you know what? I'm changing my mind. Against Emry, Ooze can actually realistically disrupt Emry enough to probably make it better than tracker. So sure, we'll switch that back. But what do we bring out? I think I'm going to cut a Brutality on the draw because it kind of only is good against Emry. And it's just less likely that we can use an unwieldy card like that with a low floor when we are on the draw. I kind of want to play another Stubborn Denial, but it doesn't come at the expense of EE. I'm going to say yes, but this might be wrong. Like, I just feel like I have to answer the Whir more than try to clean up their board after they've already deployed things. Again, on the draw, have to get a little more tempo-oriented, a little less maybe top-end oriented in terms of our interaction. But again, this could just be wrong. Could just be kind of wrong. But this is a good hand. It's a good hand. We've got an answer to whatever their best creature is, and then we can extract it. We've got that early rejection. We've got 2 fetches, so we can go get blue for rejection and still have Revolt available if we need to push Whirza. We have Trophy as well. It's a good hand. My goodness. Oh my god, the turn 1 Thopter Foundry. Okay. Okay. It's not the end of the world. Drawing that 4th land wasn't very good. We're going to fetch before our draw step no matter what, so the opponent will not get info off the bauble. Oh, the 1-lander. I see. I see. So this makes me not want to trophy the Foundry. Inquisition. Nice. Yeah. Okay, so they are working with Whirza. They have a trophy of their own. We don't care about that yet. They have Narset. They draw land. They can cast Narset. That's an issue. We don't care about the push, but they're going to be able to eat their way through our threats if we ever find them. This is where I wish we had Liliana in the deck to just like really work on the hand. So we're taking either Narset or Whir, I guess. We just can't pressure the Narset effectively, so I guess we have to take her. They're pretty far away from making Whir good as well, to be fair. I'm sorry, they need an artifact and a land to start casting stuff like Narset. And again, I don't believe they play Darksteel Citadel, the artifact land. We're going to leave that fetch uncracked. There's no real reason to use it. Okay, hand's getting a little bit too reactive for my taste, but still fine. You know, Now I kind of wish we had the tracker in the deck, right? Tracker would be a pretty good draw. And hey, maybe the opponent's just going to totally brick off for a long time on lands. Nope. Wrong. Okay. Oh, here comes our flood. Our unwanted flood. You just kind of gotta bluff here, right? Yeah, we're super threat light. It's pretty rough. They've got minimum 2 kill spells in hand. I don't think it's like wrong. You know, what else are we supposed to cut besides the slower threats here? But maybe we're supposed to just... Another Foundry? Yeah, sure, I'll reject you. Ah, it's not colorless. I was a little confused there for a moment. Okay. Yeah, so, okay, Inquisition's something proactive to do here. At this point, Snapcaster Mage would be very welcome. But, like, we can bluff that we can beat the Whir, but we can't actually beat the Whir. So, let's just take it. And we, you know, the Whirza coming down is going to make the token, and we can beat that. And then we can extract the other Whirza out of their hands, so we're competing pretty well on the value axis. But the problem is, the Thopter Foundries might eventually just kind of value us out of the game. The rejections have been pretty bad here. But, I mean, the opponent just went ham T1 and then hasn't played any more colorless things since then. Alrighty. We play some Drago. Tar Pit's a reasonable draw. We could eventually, like, trade resources heavily enough and then just, you know, get the kill spells out of their hand and land a Hex Drinker. That'd be pretty sweet. Okay. So we still have a Tomb in the deck to fetch. So what I'm going to do is sandbag the Delta and then plan to end step fetch the Tomb. Just got to manage our lands correctly on top of everything else here. Opponent just ripping land after land after land, huh? It's giving us a real window. Like, they needed to. They needed to hit the lands, and they did. And now it's just like, they're probably just like, make it stop. But we're not doing anything either. This is quite the anticlimactic final match of this league. Holy crap. Come on, deck. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, I mean, just, like, show us a parade of threats. That's what we need. Granted, we don't have that many in the deck, so... Emry. Yes. I guess we're just pushing Emry. And then we still have Trophy for Whirza. And we might as well get the Swamp while we, thin out our deck while we still have fetchables to get. There is still an island in the deck. That's the only card we have left to fetch. Another Fatal Push. Yep. So I think we're going to sandbag the Delta. This might make the opponent more likely to just say screw it and run out of an Whirza, and that might be good for us. Bauble. I'm going to counter the Bauble. Oh my goodness. Okay. Polluted Delta Pass. There's not even any point in, firing up a tar pit yet. We might as well wait to draw more discard. Try to get that stuff out of their hand. Okay. Opponent's flooded too. We still know their entire hand. This game is insane. Okay. Then their main phase fetching. Is it Whirza time? Okay, so he's got this triggered ability. So, with that ability on the stack, we generate Revolt. We get our last fetchable land out of the deck. We Fatal Push, and we extract Whirzas. They don't have anything that I don't know about, right? Or do they have a Whir? What's this? Oh, they're just getting value. Sure. Yeah, let's extract in response to this for sure. Oh, no, we can't. So we have to let that resolve. Because Whirza's not in the graveyard yet. Well, this one is, actually. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have let that resolve. Nile Spellbomb. Okay. So now we don't even have to extract it right now because they don't have the mana to play him. I'm rejecting this too. So their hand is one Whirza push trophy. So do we want to trophy the construct or do we want to just untap? I think we'll just untap. Brutality. Yeah, that's a card. I don't think escalating is worth it. So there might be one more Whirza in the deck. I guess that's worth whatever risk there might be to waiting to draw step to extract. Yeah, we'll just go to draw step. This is an intense game. Oh, they drew another fatal push, so the game just gets extended even further. So they just have double push in hand. Left in their deck, 3 Emry, 2 more Trophy, an Oko, 2 Whir, 2 Foundry, only a 1 of Sword of the Meek, which is the scariest card that they could probably find, and 2 Whirs to find it. Pithing Needle, okay, 2 Oko, sure. I'm just going to Trophy this thing now. And notably, they cannot sack it to the Thopter Foundry. Sack a non-token artifact. Okay, so we can beat 1 fatal push with a Counter Squall. So we just need to draw another threat, or another discard spell. And we can start trying to actually end this game. Snapcaster Mage. Okay. Let's go Snap Inquisition, right? Or we could, we don't need to Revolt anymore necessarily. We could go Snap, Brutality, Escalating, pitching the Catacombs just for more clock. Sure. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not holding up Counter Squall. Well, we're not attacking with Tar Pit this turn anyway, I guess. Let's just play it safe. Okay, reveal your hand, drain you for 2. Boom, 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 boom. Pitch. Okay, it's pretty annoying that they did draw that other push, but... So, Thopter Foundries can tangle with Snapcaster Mage, but they cannot tangle with Creeping Tar Pit. Really just need the opponent to break off for a little bit, and let's draw some gas. Let's draw some heat. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. We can do it. Arkham's Astrolabe. Does this draw our Counter Squall? It's some, yeah, I think it does because it's a cantrip and it can synergy with the Thopters. Sure. Counter Squall you. They've got much scarier things, but honestly, with those Thopter Foundries, this is kind of scary too. All right. Hex Drinker. Okay, so we fire up the Tar Pit. We can still make Hex Drinker a 4/4 after the fact. So let's just go on the Warpath. Alright, guys, I don't know what the opponent can have, that beats our Hex Drinker. But they've got 2 turns to get it together. And they're totally empty-handed. Uh-oh. What'd they top deck? Oko! No! No Oko. Bad Oko. Unbelievable. Come on, really? They really did. But you know what? We top deck a Maelstrom Pulse, and we can just beat them with a 3/3 Elk. I think that's what we're doing. Make them find something to beat this. That is insane that they top decked Oko. Insane. Like, they only had 1 turn to do it if it was an answer. Sword of the Meek. Oh, no. GG. Alright, we just freaking used our Pulse too. Oh, no, we've got Snap Pulse. We've got Snap Pulse. Okay, so how do we best use Snap Pulse? And is there anything better to do? Snap? Yeah. Not so much. So they can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tokens right now. I mean, that's going to still be kind of hard for us to beat. But I guess we're just supposed to Snap Pulse the Foundries right now. It's a good top deck. I can't believe they drew freaking Oko for our Hex Drinker. Guys, what's up? Oh, they can, you know what they can do is they can sack the first Foundry to stop, to stop the Pulse. So it's still probably our best play, but if they see that line, then I think we're just probably dead. Either way, I mean, we're going to struggle to beat the board, even if they just, Jeez. All right. I don't know what our outs are anymore, but they probably don't involve trading the Hex Drinker or an Elk even with a Thopter. Yep, they saw the line. Okay, fair enough. You literally couldn't make it up. They have 2 Okos in the deck. I think those are the only things that actually answer Hex Drinker. And they had 1 turn to do it. And they found it. They had 2 turns to put together something that, like, outraces it, like this combo. Potentially outraces it, anyway. But they really needed to find exactly Oko that turn from what I remember of looking at their deck. There comes Astrolabe. Here comes everything. They're just going to have everything now. They probably don't even need everything anymore. We don't know what our outs are at this stage. Maybe some way to kill the Thopter, and then another way to grind through the Thopter tokens. So maybe we'd need Snap Trophy, and then even so, they just have another Thopter Foundry. Ooh, doesn't... Ooh, EE. EE. EE's an out, right? Kind of. Because if we play it before we attack, it's not great. I mean, we just set it on 2, then we have our Elk against their... They're going to make a ton of Thopters in response. Maybe this isn't much of an out. So what if we draw another EE next turn? So if we do it on 2 now, we're going to lose our Snap anyway, so we'll definitely attack with Snap. I guess if we do it on 2 now, then we draw another EE for 0 next turn, we could still feasibly get there. Let's see what they do. If only we had the Plague Man in the deck. It's the only thing I don't love about your list, Anthony. I think this list is so good. Genuinely love it. Think it's, like, way more powerful than it appears to be at first glance on paper, because you see a lot of the tempo stuff as mildly incongruous in theory with the BGX stuff. But playing it, you really see the new dimension that it brings, of course, and opponent's just making all the Thopters right now. And I understand that Plague Engineer is not necessarily a great fit with the blue splash. Like, there's nothing about blue that makes you want to say Plague Man works well with this. But sure. But the Plague Man would be an awesome out here. That is all I'm saying, and it's my favorite new card, so I've got to throw the love of the Plague Man's way, right? But, so yeah, we have to do this on 2 now, and hope we can draw another one to kill the Thopters, and then hope we can draw another Hex Drinker, probably. This game is truly epic, but I'm sad that we're not going to end up winning it. Okay, so opponent bricks off, we draw another EE, then we draw a Hex Drinker, then they still have 3, oh, they just hit another Planeswalker, alright. So they do have these, but this is not something that could have interacted with Hex Drinker. And that's just gonna do it. What a game, my friends, what a game, what a series, what a match, what a league. The best deck in the format takes us down, and we came so close to getting there. It hurts the heart. It hurts the heart to come so close, yet be so far. But, Anthony, I hope this was worth your money, my friend. This was a long league. This was a league that I played tired, but I hope I played okay. I hope I wasn't zombie mode commentating. I think we did an alright job, but man, this was so close to the 5-0. But Oko, Thief of Crowns. Oko, Thief of 5-0's taking us down. So, yeah, the one thing that I wanted to mention in the wrap-up that I don't need to because I just said it at the end of that league, that would be Plague Man is worth at least considering, I think. Partially due to the fact that he's just extremely good on his own. Like, in a vacuum, an extremely powerful card, one of the best cards that a fair black XX deck can play. Partially because I do think the Blue Splash makes us a little bit weaker against go-wide decks, against low-to-the-ground aggro decks. He can help shore that up. And partially, while the Whirza Thopter deck is certainly a top format deck, even if Paradoxical Outcome or, other Emry decks, who knows what's all out there, but Plague Man is basically always very playable, and the fact that he does flex in to a very powerful matchup like the one we just played, Just another point in his favor, I suppose. But hey, you are the BGU expert. That's not how we say it. Bug. You're the bug expert, not me, the BUG expert. There we go. So, yeah, let me know what you think, and let me know, of course, my friends out there, what you think about the list, any feedback you have about it. And, yeah, we definitely took the game to the opponents this league. Certainly was not my expertise in piloting, because I've never really played this list before. Just a few warm-up games beforehand is all I got in, and I don't have much Sultai background at all anyway, so there we go. There was our league. Thanks once again to all Patreon supporters, and thank you especially to Anthony Zolman, who did make this league possible with his donation. I hope you enjoyed it, my friends. Stay tuned to the channel. We're always playing more BG The Rock for you, and always splashing into other variants of the BGX archetype like this one. This was a long league. I hope it wasn't too arduous to watch. We had a lot of really long games. We had a lot of really long matches. And that's just kind of the nature of the matchups we were up against for the most part. So, hey, if it was too long, I hope you watched it in parts. I hope you broke it up into a couple parts. But since it was so long, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. It's way past my bedtime, and I'm going to get punished for this tomorrow. I'm going to be the Walking Dead tomorrow. But we got to make time for the channel. We got to make time for the supporters, and this was it. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Everyone out there, have a wonderful night.